Come on, Annie. Let's go to the movies.
This is the Cinereelists, episode 736. My name is Kyle.
My name is James.
And my name is Zach.
And we're here to talk movies, movie lists, and movie obsession for the next hour or so. Guys, are you ready to wade into the waters of the Odyssey?
Yes.
Oh, man. That took a long way to get there, Kyle.
I thought it would take maybe only 3 words. It took 20 words to get there. It was not what I was anticipating.
Yeah. Well, if you weren't so obsessed with Charlize Theron, maybe we could find that quicker.
Okay, I'm just going to say this right away. Being trapped on a desert island with Charlize Theron for like 7 years doing drugs sounds amazing.
Kyle, you have a wife and kid at home.
Oh, she knows. There's certain people you can just say, sorry, honey.
So you would have stayed on that beach. You wouldn't have, he did what, 7 or 8 years in the movie with her?
Yes, I would have been like, sure, I have a past. Who cares? This is wonderful.
Give me more Lotus.
Yeah, give me more Lotus. Go find some more fishnet stocking outfits and let's have some dinner.
Sure. If you haven't seen the movie, you have no idea what we're talking about, but it's Odyssey related. We'll just say that for now. I'm sure we'll get into it more when we talk about the movie proper. Welcome to the podcast. This is episode 736, as Kyle mentioned, in which we're going to talk Christopher Nolan's latest movie, The Odyssey. We will join the chorus of white guys talking about The Odyssey this weekend.
Yeah, let's talk about the casting first, everybody. James, what do you think? I'm joking. I'm not gonna dive into that.
We can talk about the cast once we get into it, for sure.
Yeah, I do want to
there's
talk about the
things
cast
to be
for sure.
said that aren't necessarily clickbait YouTube video topics when it comes to the casting.
You think there's non-hateful things we can say about the cast?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, perfect.
Maybe some criticism, some substantive criticism as opposed to thin criticism, maybe.
Sure.
Yeah, welcome to episode 736. We're going to talk The Odyssey. Before we jump into all that, though, we need to remind you there's a video version of this podcast on YouTube. Go check it out there. Watch while you listen and throw a subscribe. We'd appreciate that. You could also support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Cinereelists. Support the podcast. Get extra after show audio amongst other Cinerealist swag. You could leave us an Apple Podcast review, 5 stars only. We'd appreciate that. Or send us an email to heyguys@cinereelists.com. Send a comment, a question, a list suggestion, a movie suggestion, any of those kinds of things. And we will most likely discuss it on a future episode. Also, before we get into The Odyssey, don't forget, this is your opportunity to win a vintage t-shirt from the 2002 M. Night Shyamalan movie, Signs. It's a brand new t-shirt from 2002. What is that, 24 years old at this point? Something like that.
Yeah, it's a little about the length of the Odyssey.
Yep. So if that interests you, send us an email letting us know exactly why you deserve the 2002 Signs t-shirt from the movie Signs, directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
It's rapidly becoming my least favorite bit.
I know.
Yeah.
I can feel it. That means I need to go just a little bit longer. It'll come right back around to funny again, I'm sure. Definitely. If it ever was funny. Yeah. So links are in the description for any and all of those things.
I am actually I am not offering a Signs t-shirt from the M. Night Shyamalan movie Signs. So
Okay.
if you would not want a Signs t-shirt from the M. Night Shyamalan movie Signs, email the show and I will pick one winner
To
to
not
not
win it.
receive a t-shirt. Yeah.
Sounds good.
And
Sounds
I am
good.
offering a shirt of a sign. So write
Are you
in.
really?
You want stop,
Careful what you offer.
yield,
Careful what you offer.
Yeah, you
Ace
might
of
have to
base.
fulfill it.
lots of sign options here. So
If there's one person on this podcast who would offer something and then not fulfill it, it would be Kyle.
oh yeah,
Well,
what I got
that's
to lose?
I'll take an Ace of Base t-shirt. Ace of Base is awesome. I love it.
I'm not saying I have an Ace of Base t-shirt. I'm saying it could be an Ace of Base t-shirt.
Oh,
It's
okay.
a signed t-shirt.
Sure. But I'm down. I don't think Ace of Base t-shirts exist. I've never seen one.
We've lost James. James
This
is
is all I
gone.
can think about now.
It's Ace of Base. I am certain Ace of Base t-shirts exist. I don't know if there's many around anymore, but they definitely made t-shirts in the early 90s.
Really? You've seen one? I've never even seen one.
I feel like Hot Topic had them.
Guys, I'm curious if
Mhm.
you've seen the same movie that I've seen recently.
Was it the biopic on Ace of Base? That would be good.
No, it wasn't.
They had a whole chapter on t-shirts in there that James should watch.
I can't wait. All right. Enough silliness. Let's jump into our movie for this week. It's a big one. It's in theaters and only theaters, as Christopher Nolan intended. He never wants anybody to ever watch this unless they're watching it 70 millimeter IMAX, period. That's it. That's how he made it for it to be viewed. Anything less is a heresy against filmmaking itself.
When this all comes out on home video, we're going to have to buy IMAX 70 millimeter TVs.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
You know the best way to watch a Nolan film is on an airplane, right?
Yeah.
It's the ideal conditions.
Yeah.
A vintage one that's been loaned to you and then you blow it up or whatever that rumor was. Wasn't there a rumor around Dunkirk that he like borrowed an airplane from a vintage museum or something and then damaged it? You guys don't remember this?
I remember the Kurt Russell destroying the guitar in Hateful Eight.
Oh yeah, that happened too. But
That happened.
And
but
the
different.
model ship in Battlestar Galactica,
I don't know anything about that.
they
Oh.
borrowed like a priceless model ship in Battlestar Galactica, and then one of the actors was like improvising and he destroyed it.
Oh, yeah, Edward James Olmos. It was a ship in a bottle.
Yeah.
And because throughout the whole series, he's building this ship in the bottle. And then he has this emotional breakdown and he smashes the ship in the bottle he's been building all series. And apparently it was not a prop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Well, we're talking The Odyssey. Like I said, it's in theaters now. We're going to get into it right after this clip.
Odysseus. Don't you remember? Thunder. Fire. Death.
I remember a wife, a son.
That was The Odyssey, a 2026 epic fantasy action film written and directed by Christopher Nolan. It's an adaptation of Homer's ancient Greek epic poem titled The Odyssey. This movie stars Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Robert Pattinson, Lupita Nyong'o, Samantha Morton, Zendaya, and Charlize Theron, amongst others. The official IMDb plot synopsis for The Odyssey is: after the Trojan War, Odysseus faces a dangerous voyage back to Ithaca, meeting creatures like the Cyclops Polyphemus,
Sounds
Polyphemus.
better.
Polyphemus, Sirens, and Calypso along the way. So we've all seen The Odyssey. We're going to do this review in two stages, a short non-spoiler chat, and then we will go right into spoilers because the basic story of The Odyssey, Homer's The Odyssey, is kind of pretty well known. And I'm not sure there's a whole lot of surprises as far as plot lines go when it comes to this movie, but we'll discuss it. I think at least I assume Zach is more familiar with this than I certainly am. Kyle, what's your relationship with The Odyssey?
Well, first, triggered. Ouch. You just assume that Zach knows more about it.
Just because he's mentioned that he read it somewhat recently, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, he
I
probably
read it last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know. I read it in high school. And then I took a Greek antiquities class in college. That was more focused on the Iliad than the Odyssey, but we touched into that too. So
Okay.
I would say I have a fairly good knowledge base.
Do you know why it's called the Iliad?
I did 20 years ago in college.
The other name for Troy is Ilios.
Oh, okay. Here's my other question. I was listening to the band Cream on the way home after I saw this movie, and the song "Tale of Brave Ulysses" came on. And I was wait, are Ulysses and Odysseus? That's interchangeable, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Is one like the Greek versus the Anglo-Saxon pronunciation, or
Or it might be the Greek versus Roman.
or Roman?
pronunciation.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
something like that. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, no, it's. I did not. I put my Apple Play on shuffle. Like the third after I saw the movie, third song was "Tale of Brave Ulysses." I was like, oh man, how does Apple know?
They're listening to you.
They're
How does it
listening
not
to me.
know?
How do they not know exactly?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
okay. So James, what's your background for the Odyssey, the Iliad?
I don't remember having to read this as a kid. So not a children's book.
Not a children's book.
I read it as a child, so I think it is a children's book.
Sure. I certainly, in watching the movie, felt the beats of it. I don't know if that's just something I've absorbed via pop culture over time, or the fact that there's like certain phrases from this that have reference in modern culture. You know what I mean? We talk about Trojan horses and songs of the sirens and stuff like that, which are, I don't know if they originated from Homer's Odyssey.
They did.
They
but
did.
I assume as much. And so, I feel like I soaked in a good deal of this story, but don't recall having to read the book or reading the book. So, that's where I'm at. Have no particular love for it, to be honest. I don't really care one way or the other.
Sure. I have a project in my mind to read all of the like famous literature in chronological order. So
Like chronological by when they take place in history,
when they were written.
when they're written.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which tends to line up until you get to modern times.
Sure.
And so I made this long list of like tons of works of like everyone considers like the canon basically. And so I started reading through it. And so that's what brought me to pretty quickly to the Iliad and to the Odyssey.
Yeah, isn't like the Odyssey and the Iliad one of the not the oldest story ever in mankind, but one of the oldest? Like
Certainly one of the earliest epic poems.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we have Gilgamesh and the Bible and things like that. But yes, yeah, it's super early.
But doesn't the Odyssey predate the Bible?
No, not sections of it. No,
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess the Odyssey predates the New Testament.
for sure. Yeah.
It doesn't predate Genesis.
Yeah, or the Book of Job.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right,
Anyways,
yeah, okay.
So I did read it, both of those last year, and I thought that they would be dry and boring, and they were not. They were super well written. I was reading it, and I was like, I can tell why this has been famous, ever since it was first came about. You know what I mean? Like it absolutely, I thought, was interesting and well written, and there are a ton of translations. So I did like a lot of time figuring out which translations I wanted to read. But I was excited for the movie for that reason, just because I was familiar with the story and I wanted to see it on screen. I wouldn't say I have any particularly like love for the Odysseus character. I think when I think of Odysseus, I think of someone who is crafty and kind of doesn't quit.
Okay.
Yeah, he's very tenacious throughout the Odyssey.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But he's like the smart one.
It's the smart Trojan.
Yeah. Oh, no, he fought the Trojans.
He's
okay.
He's
He's
a
right.
He's the smart
That
Greek.
makes sense.
Greek, yeah.
Smart Greek.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm gonna go back. He left Charlie's on the beach. Is he that smart?
It's time to go, man.
It's I'm gonna drop a half star right there.
I mean, even she identifies kind of that it's time for him to go.
Yeah,
I would
right.
say.
Yeah, she doesn't even know who he is exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Christopher Nolan. We're all very familiar with him, I would say. He has now made an adaptation of this classic epic poem, and we've seen it. How'd you guys see it before we jump into spoiler-free thoughts? I saw it on a not an IMAX screen. What do they call those? A Dolby screen with nice seats and a killer sound.
Nice.
It wasn't anything like extravagant, but it was the biggest screen in the theater I was in. So
I saw it. I just finished it about 2 hours ago.
okay.
On an IMAX. So it was like one of the floor to ceiling,
Mhm.
full frame screens. It looks pretty awesome. It sounded pretty awesome too.
Nice.
The way I saw it is definitely going to affect my review. But I saw it on 70 millimeter at the Enzian.
Mhm.
They just installed these new 70 millimeter projectors. And then right after we record this, I'm going to go watch it again at the Point Orlando Theater, which is the like jumbo IMAX.
Nice.
Awesome.
I'm curious to know if how you saw it in 70 millimeter is a positive or negative effect on your review.
Let's find out.
I'm going to find out.
All right. Let's find out. What'd you guys think of the Odyssey?
I'll go first here. I really want to wait on tenterhooks to find out how the 70 millimeter was from Zach.
Sure.
I mean, to be blunt, I mean, this is like a modern epic, and I don't know the last time we got a epic saga of this scale. I mean, I think when I think of epics, obviously we have the era of like, the 50s and 60s, but like for modern ones, I think Braveheart, I think Gladiator, Lord of the Rings, you can kind of lump that in there too. And then maybe I'm wrong. I feel like we've had a bit of a dearth of these big epic movies for like the last 20 years or so. And to see, if anyone's going to make an epic, make this story, make it good and watchable and engaging for 3 hours, I mean, Christopher Nolan is the guy to do it. And I think he definitely pulled it off. There's a lot of spectacle on this screen, a lot of stuff I want to talk to you guys that were just cool shots, arresting moments, performances. I would, there are some really stood out to me. I would not say there's any bad performances in this movie. Some stood out more than others. We definitely dive into that. But what I found, I think, most interesting for me with this movie is there's so much focus when people talk about the Odyssey. They talk about what James mentioned, like, oh yeah, there's like the sirens and the Cyclops. Like people talk about what happens in the Odyssey, but there's not a lot of discussion about what's the Odyssey about. Like, why is this such an epic tale? Why is this tale important? Why has this tale survived for thousands of years through human history? And the Odyssey is a tragedy. And I think Christopher Nolan did a great job of kind of focusing on like, yeah, this is a tragedy. Odysseus goes on this adventure. He goes on this journey. All these, otherworldly things happen to him. But at the heart of it, like, why is all this happening to him? And I thought that was a really interesting focus of this movie and something that I kind of forgot in the story of the Odyssey that I'm glad Nolan was able to bring back. So I definitely want to talk more in spoilers about the tragedy, about maybe some editorializing that Nolan was doing in this movie or not. We can discuss. But yeah, I think this is a pretty impressive achievement. Zach, what do you think?
Let's hear from James first.
Okay.
Just as like a simple Saturday afternoon watch, like an escape to the movies, I thought it was great. I mean, I had a lot of fun watching the movie. It put pieces in an order that made sense as far as like what knowledge I brought to it. You know what I mean? It was like I again have soaked in things about this story from the peripherals, and so to see them, actually connect as opposed to just be references to something was fun. It felt a little bit like like John Carter, a little bit, where you're watching it and you're like, oh, all right, so this and this took it from this original story. You know what I mean? Like there's lots of I think people have taken a lot of inspiration from the Odyssey over time, even though Hollywood has never really tried to make a night at the movies out of the Odyssey. They've definitely farmed this story here and there. At least the more spectacular portions of it.
I mean, you could make a really good argument that every story that has ever been told is either from the Odyssey or from the Bible.
Yeah,
sure. Totally makes sense. And so I think probably what I enjoyed the most is like the versions of elements of this that I have seen are normally like joking about it, or I don't know, they're like lighter fare, I would say. This one just kind of the fact that you're giving a fully fleshed out story around those set pieces, but also the interpretation of the set pieces in general were like pretty interesting. There's two segments in this movie that are pretty much downright horror, I would say, which is crazy because that's not really something Nolan typically dips his feet into. And I enjoyed those. I thought one was disturbing for sure, even as a guy who enjoys his horror elevated. The other one was more like action horror. And I enjoyed that too. I was not ready. I had not seen a trailer for this at all. I intentionally stayed away from it. I'm glad I did. I have no clue what they reveal in those trailers, but every frame of this movie, short of the posters, was new to me. And I really enjoyed that discovery for sure. Yeah, I mean, Nolan, he's a master filmmaker. I'm not sure there's much story-wise that he would even attempt that isn't already going to be good. You know what I mean? Otherwise, he probably wouldn't think it's for him anyway. I rewatched Tenet last night, and that movie, despite the fact you can't understand what anybody's saying through the entire movie, is still very interesting to watch and try to unwind as you're watching it. And I think that's probably the story for all of his movies. It's like you could probably watch them on mute and they would still be fun and interesting. Thankfully, you can understand pretty much all the character dialogue in this one. But yeah, I had fun with it overall. Zach?
Nice. Okay, this movie is probably now my primary example of how subjective movie watching can be.
Okay.
And how affected by your experience your subjective feeling about the movie is. Because I'm really struggling to separate out what I think of the movie from my experience of watching the movie. And I did not particularly enjoy this film.
Really?
And I think that was primarily biased by my experience watching it.
So
because
let us
watching a
know your
movie at the
experience
Enzion kind of
first. Yeah,
sucks.
I want to hear the experience, and then you can tie it into the actual movie itself. So
Okay, so I went to the movie Thursday night.
Yeah.
At the Enzion Theater in Orlando, and as you walk in, there were signs on the door, and here's what the sign said: "Attention! There are moments of this film that may appear out of focus. This is not a defect of the film print or issue with projection. Thank you for your understanding, the management."
Okay.
So they let us all know that, like, you know, the movie had some artistic, blurry moments or like out of focus things that were part of the director's, vision, but that other people had complained because they didn't understand that this is like how the movie was made. And they just, like, before you complain, just know there's some parts of the movie that are going to appear out of focus, but that's part of the artistic vision of the film. They even made an announcement over the microphone before the film played, reiterating this idea that this is not a problem with the projector or the film print. This was the artistic creation of the director.
Wait, so you saw this on Thursday?
Yes.
Who had seen it before you? It wasn't. Didn't it come out?
It was the third screening that day.
Okay. So already people. Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
All right.
I went to the 10 p.m. screening.
Okay.
And so the movie starts, and it does start out of focus. And I was thinking at the time, like, okay, I guess people are just not like film literate, and they didn't understand that, like, oh, someone wakes up on a beach and like maybe he's still blinking and things are out of, I don't know what people are complaining about, but like, it's gonna be obvious that this is intentional, like blurriness. Someone gets a hit on the head and maybe he's looking around on the beach and everything's blurry or something like that. The movie starts and it is out of focus. Just in the middle of the frame. Like if you were to split the frame into a triptych where on the left and the right intact focus, and then the middle, like 50%, is just blurry.
Oh.
And that goes on for the first minute, And at first you're primed for this, so you're almost thinking like maybe this is some sort of artistic, decision or whatever. But then things happen where like there's no way that's an artistic decision. You wouldn't film a film with an IMAX camera and then have this particular shot be blurry for no reason.
Right.
And then it continued for 45 minutes that way. So all the way until the Cyclops scene. The entire middle of the screen was out of focus. Like, and not just a little bit. Like, it was as if, Kyle, you took off your glasses.
Oh, so blurry.
It wasn't just slightly blurry. It was very, like, you couldn't articulate like features on someone, like they were that blurry. And I like pulled over the server, because they have servers there, and I said, what's going on with this? And they're like, no, this is just the director. I guess he's just a bad director.
The server said he's a bad director.
Yeah. I mean, she was probably 19 and could not care less. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And anyway, this theater like says you don't pull out, you can't pull out your phones. They'll kick you out if you pull out your phones or whatever. So for the first 45 minutes of this film, and they've already said like this is not an issue with the production or whatever, it's just out of focus. And then in the middle of the Cyclops scene, it just snaps into focus, right? And then for the next hour or so, every now and then, maybe for like 30 seconds at a time, it would go back out of focus again, back blurry again, and then come back after like 30 seconds. And the whole time, I'm just getting more and more upset.
Yeah.
By the theater gaslighting me into thinking that this is how the movie is supposed to be presented. And then at the end, the last 20 minutes, including the credits, were incredibly blurry. And I was like, you're telling me Christopher Nolan's
credits
artistic
are blurry.
vision is for the credits to be unreadable?
Blurry. Yeah, that's...
I'm not so sure. So as soon as the movie's ended, now I have a rule where I watch the credits all the way through. I did not do that on this movie.
Okay. Oh, wow.
So I've not seen the credits of this film. I haven't seen the blooper reel that plays after the credits. And I've not seen the stay tuned for Odysseus 2 that comes after the blooper reel. So I haven't seen those things.
Avengers Doomsday, he'll be in that one.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. I went out and immediately said, can I talk to a manager? And so they called the manager and I said, what is going on with it being out of focus? And he's like, no, it's not out of focus. That is how the film is supposed to look. And I said, absolutely not. Like 100%. That is not. And he's like, well, would you like to talk to the projectionist? And I was like, yes, I would like to talk to the projectionist. Keep in mind, this is like 1:30 in the morning. Yes, I would like to. So the projectionist came down and I had the exact same conversation with him. And he said, no, I've done everything correctly. This is how the film is supposed to look. And I said, did you watch the film? Like, have you ever watched a film? This is not how it's supposed to look. And he dug in his heels about it. And so I demanded a refund. They couldn't give me one because the box office was closed because it was the middle of the night. They did end up giving me one the next day. But I was so upset that they were gaslighting me into thinking this is how the movie's supposed to look, when it's like, clearly it's not. So anyway, so that was my experience watching the movie. And I think I was so distracted and so progressively upset that I didn't really think the film was all that special.
Well, probably because you were just right. I mean, maybe it isn't right, but yeah, if you're not engaged, if you're just focused on like the focus, right?
Like I do have lots of thoughts to share and things that like stood out to me and like I liked and didn't like or that. But I would say primarily, I think that Christopher Nolan should have shot it more in focus. I was bothered by his stylistic choice of making everything blurry.
Right down the middle, too.
Exactly. Which is jarring.
No, I read a story that on the first day of filming, Christopher Nolan was all set up, and then Hoyt DeHama showed up with a jar of Vaseline. He said, Chris, I got an idea. And he just went right down the middle of the screen. He was like, I love it. Let's do it.
Yeah. And what I think it was is I think whatever was holding the film wasn't holding it flat. And so the film was probably moving off and back on.
Like fluttering in the middle.
Fluttering kind of a thing. Because sometimes it would be totally fine and other times it would be worse. So
it's, and you said this is a pretty new 70 millimeter.
Yeah, it was new this week.
Like it was new this week?
Yeah, they got it this week.
Oh, so there's,
this
okay. So yeah, I mean, they're still probably figure out how to project 70 millimeter.
Yeah, I would think. The thing, what bothered me was If they had said like, yeah, we just got this, we're having issues, we're still dialing it in.
Yeah.
I would have been so much more forgiving. But it was the fact that like, no, I'm telling you something's wrong. And they're like, no, we've checked and double checked. It's definitely not wrong. And I was like, have you watched? I asked them, did you watch the first 45 minutes? And the projectionist said, I started it, but I didn't have time to watch it. I'm busy up there. I was doing work. And I was like, well, okay. If you had glanced at the screen, maybe you would have noticed there's an issue.
Right.
They only have one screen at the Enzion. What work could he possibly be doing?
A fantastic question. Now, in fairness to them, they did release a statement the next day saying, we thought we had diagnosed and fixed the problem, but several patrons had come up to us and helped us understand that the problem still existed and it was not what we thought it was. We have since fixed it and are offering free tickets for anyone that want them. They went to that screening. So they handled it right the next day, but the way they handled that day was basically to tell me, I don't know what I'm talking about. And what I saw was real.
Yeah.
Which is, it's maddening to be gaslit and told like, don't believe what you're seeing with your own eyes.
Sure. Yeah.
And I said, I have a movie podcast.
I am a cinerealist, okay?
I have seen every Nolan movie. He would not do this.
Look, you guys don't know this, but Nolan wanted you to watch the movie like you were the Cyclops, okay? So if you had one eye, it would be kind of blurry in the middle.
Yeah. So anyway, how did I think of the movie? I'm going to have lots of thoughts on it, but I'm going to go later today and try to watch it fresh. That might not be possible. This might have ruined the Odyssey for me forever. We'll see. But as of now, the movie was kind of like fine.
Okay. Next week, Zach, I think you should check in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, next week we're going to do a special episode on the Odyssey, Obsession, and Backrooms.
Just you and me, right?
Yeah.
We should just do like rolling episodes where like each week we add a movie and also talk about the ones we previously talked about. So by the end of the year, there's like 24 movies. Or we just have to speed through all of them to get them done.
Yeah,
Like,
if we'd started at the beginning, we'd have like 700 movies that we have to cover every episode.
right. You have like, any new thoughts on her?
Same.
Nope. Okay, great.
Same.
Any new
Same.
thoughts on Birdman? Nope, not really. Okay, great.
Well, that's a bummer because you out of the three of us, it felt like you were the one that was the most excited, beyond the Nolan-ness of the movie,
Right.
for the topics. So, I think you'll find things in the second viewing, where you're less distracted by, something that has nothing to do with the movie.
I think he'll literally find things the second time around that he couldn't find the first time.
You'll definitely see things you probably didn't see the first time.
How did you tell the characters apart? No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, to be fair, there were times that I'm sure we'll get into in spoilers where I had difficulty. I think I got there, but
I'm going to be honest. I never was like looking at the screen and being like, who's that now? Like, I can tell them all apart.
Sure.
I'm curious to know, James, which ones you.
I mean, there's literally two characters played by the same actor in this movie, so. I think that confused me. That's pretty much the only one that seriously confused me for a moment, a fleeting moment that really didn't matter, to be honest. But, yeah. Okay. Anything else to say, like spoiler free, before we jump into spoilers on this one? All right, let's letterbox this at the end of spoilers because we really haven't talked about the movie much.
Yeah.
So we're moving into spoilers for the movie and the story of the Odyssey. So if you don't want to know anything about it, then you probably shouldn't be listening to this. But if you have already seen the movie or you don't care about spoilers, listen on. Okay. The Odyssey. So the only character I had any confusion over was Lupita Nyong'o's character, who evidently has a sister that looks exactly like her.
Twin sister.
And one of them has scars and the other one doesn't. I don't really know which one is which still.
So Lupita Nyong'o with scars.
Mm-hmm.
That's Helen of Troy. That is John Bernthal's wife. That's what kicks off. I can't remember if she gets kidnapped or if she willingly goes to Troy, but her presence in Troy is what starts the whole war, because Agamemnon, who is I don't even know what he was, the general, the leader, the guy in charge of Greece at the time.
Mhm.
His wife is Helen's sister, twin sister.
Okay.
So
But Agamemnon was in this movie?
yeah, that was the guy with the big helmet with the vertebrae on the back.
Gotcha.
Yeah, who then
Okay.
gets, spoiler alert, stabbed by his own wife.
The guy who kind of looked like the mountain.
Yeah, that was Benny Safdie.
Really?
Yeah. You
Interesting.
never see his face, but yeah, that was him
Right.
playing the role. So
Okay.
yeah, Lupita with the scars. That's
Mhm.
Helen of Troy.
And Helen of Troy, like traditionally, wasn't she like considered like the most beautiful woman in the world or something like that?
Right. They even say
Yeah.
the line, the ship that launched 1,000, or the face that launched 1,000 ships. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So in the original Odyssey story, does she get all scarred up and taken away and all that?
I think that was new.
I
Okay.
don't remember her being deformed or.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember in the Iliad she was kidnapped, and in this movie they kind of left it more of like, was she kidnapped? Was this more like a
There's kind of both traditions.
Okay.
There's the story that Paris was like a prince that got like cursed to be a shepherd
Yeah.
or something, and then a god offered him to choose. He could be like undefeatable, or he could have all the money in the world, or he could have the most beautiful woman in the world fall in love with him, and he picked that one.
Mm-hmm.
And so then when he met Helen of Troy, she like fell in love with him. So that's like one, story. And then the other is that he kidnapped her.
Okay. All right.
Gotcha.
That's right. The name Paris. That came back to me once you said it.
Yeah.
So it's a real One Wish Willow situation.
But Agamemnon and Menelaus, they're both brothers, and one's king of Sparta, the other one's king of Greece or somewhere.
yeah, John Bernthal's
Mycenae.
king of Sparta.
Yeah.
And then Agamemnon, Benny Safdie's king of Greece. Or yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And Paris is the prince of Troy, and
Right.
he steals Helen.
Yep. That's right. So yeah. So right. Lupita with the scars going to Troy for whatever reason. That's what starts the whole war in the first place.
Right. And I think they cover that barely in the movie, but they're not really. Correct me if I'm wrong, Zach, who's read it most recently, and you too, Kyle, if you remember. But is the Odyssey more like a story of all these people than it is a story of Odysseus, or is it similar in the book where it's like, no, this is Odysseus' story, and we might give you some backstory on some of these other people, but it's going to be not really the focus.
So the Iliad is the story of the war.
Gotcha.
And then the Odyssey is the story of Odysseus, his journey home, as well as what's happening with his family, with the Penelope and the son, all the
post-war?
suitors.
Post-war kind of.
Yeah. The Odyssey is post-war. The Iliad is the war.
Gotcha. Because I got the
Yeah.
feeling that this movie wasn't really. It was giving us a little bit of that kind of like backstory on all these other characters, but mostly it's focused on Matt Damon.
Yeah.
And
You remember the movie Troy with Brad Pitt?
Yeah.
That's like the Iliad. And this is the Odyssey. Yeah.
Gotcha. It was.
But they're all in there. I mean, they're constant in the book. They're constantly rehashing people's relationships and backstories and all sorts of stuff.
Gotcha. I thought there was enough in here. I mean, even though I didn't fully understand exactly who was who, to the T, every person, exactly all their motivations, stuff like that, it didn't really matter, and it didn't frustrate me in the moment. They were giving me enough information that I could understand why the characters that they were focusing on were doing the things that they were doing. Like there was enough explanation for that, and enough just kind of seeing it play out at the same time. And so, yeah, I was on board, even though I wouldn't have minded if this had another hour and we got more of, the supporting characters, less talking about what happened to them and more seeing what happened to them. Maybe might have been interesting, but again, a 3-hour movie already. I don't know if we can do 4-hour movies in the theater. I mean, I can, but
This movie would have been better had 2 years ago the Iliad came out, right? And we had seen some of these characters already in an Iliad, and then now we're seeing them in the Odyssey. I think this movie would have benefited from that.
do you think there's a world where Nolan does that?
No,
revisits?
No.
I don't think it goes backwards.
Okay.
I guess I could, it would have been cool, right, to see him do a two-hander, or not two-hander, but like a 1-2 of the Iliad and the Odyssey. But I do feel like this movie did give you enough Iliad backstory to at least understand like who these characters are, why are they here, why are they important, right? Obviously, yeah, we could learn more about John Bernthal and what happened, once he got back, and why is Helen of Troy, or why is Helen scarred, and right, yeah. So there's definitely stuff left on the table.
Yeah.
But considering this is the Odyssey, this is Odysseus' story.
Yeah.
I was fine with what they gave us of the nod Odysseus stuff versus
Totally. It would be fun to see Nolan's Achilles and Patroclus and Hector and all them.
Right. Yeah. Right. Because you don't get Ajax, you don't get any of those people in this movie. Yeah. So yeah. All right. So I mean, I'm curious to know what you guys thought about sort of the underlying tragic tone of the movie. And then Zach, since you've read it more recently also, I'm curious to know if that's kind of portrayed in the story. But I mean, I think that's what stood out to me, and I mentioned this in my opening review, is like just the tragedy of Odysseus. And there's a bigger theme that I want to get into also, but just sort of, what did you guys pick up on that of like, he's almost being punished and everything that's happening to him is all tied back to this opening event, the whole Trojan horse and everything.
I mean, I really like that because I don't have like much short of like the thinnest of a reference to a Trojan horse type of thing, or like the traditional story of like a Trojan horse on wheels with guys neatly, stacked in there waiting to burst out and attack.
And they like
what I
roll
mean?
it up and knock on the door and say, "Here you go."
Right.
Yeah.
It's a very different version of that, I would say. So I enjoyed the realistic interpretation Nolan gave it, that like, no, this is a struggle for these guys to be in that thing for as long as they were. It was a struggle to get that horse in the, in the compound, all that kind of stuff. I dug all that. But just to circle what you're saying, Kyle, the idea that like the Trojan horse, I always saw it as like a military victory. You know what I mean? Like a strategist at its best kind of thing. They snuck in, and this impenetrable fortress, they were able to open the gates so that the rest of the Greeks can come screaming in and conquer, whatever. He doesn't see it that way. By the end of the movie, he sees it as like kind of shameful what he did. And
it was deceitful. They broke
like the code.
This trust between people. Yeah.
Right. They broke Zeus's code. Is that what they were calling it? Zeus's law. Yeah. And he's kind of resigned to the idea that the reason why things aren't going his way on his way home starts from there, essentially, that he has broken society. And I thought that was interesting. Also, there's like lots of themes of like leadership and the idea of being a leader, making hard decisions. He's definitely like a guy who flies by the seat of his pants a little bit. And is sometimes, there's multiple times where soldiers die and he's like, well, we got to leave the body. No time to spare on this. We'll deal with it later. And all the other soldiers are like, seriously? And you could see it in their face. They're thinking he would leave me too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's like he is not to be trusted on an individual basis.
As the movie goes on, you can see these guys have less and less trust in this leader, that he has their best intentions in mind. Despite the fact that there are moments where he's like giving them solid advice. Like, don't eat the cow. You know what I mean? No matter what you do, don't eat the cow. And they don't listen to him. But yeah, so I liked that there was far more depth to this than what I expected there to be. And I thought they were good themes. Also, like the idea of absent father going away to work and like just missing out on their child's existence, essentially. I thought that was interesting. I think it's interesting. I've been watching Nolan interviews and him talking about he's getting into his late 50s now, or something 55. Like that. Yeah, mid 50s. I think he's probably seeing that there's only so many of these he's gonna make. You know what I mean? And so I've heard him talk about how he's going to be more choosy about his projects, although he seems like he's been pretty choosy most of his career, to be honest. But that he understands that like 3 or 4 years of his life just gets snapped away every time he picks something. And I think I hesitate to say this is his most personal film because I think probably the father stuff in the space movie that I'm Interstellar is probably more personal to him. But I think there's shades of that. Unless that's in the original story. You tell us, Zach.
The whole like Zeus's law thing
Mm-hmm.
is certainly in the original story. Probably a main theme. It's like, how do you treat strangers?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you hospitable? I mean, the whole all the suitors like abusing the hospitality of the palace is a major part of the Odyssey, for sure. And I did think the movie kind of beat us over the head with it. I felt like every 10 minutes they're re-mentioning Zeus's law, and it's like, don't forget about this because I'm going to bring it up at the very end, and it's going to be like the major message of the movie, so you can't forget about it. I think they could have gotten rid of half of the references, and it still would have hit just as well, probably better. But that's not like the message of the original story. But I'm fine with him contextualizing it, and make it like a modern message for a modern man. But yeah, Zeus's law. It basically treats strangers as if they might secretly be gods, and so treat them well, and then guests like treat your hosts well.
Right. So at the end, Matt Damon's character, or Odysseus, Matt Damon's character, the guy, who's he play again? I can't remember. He kind of gives this monologue about how we with the Trojan horse we broke the trust between man, we broke Zeus's law. Did we break civilization? Is that Christopher Nolan editorializing?
Yeah.
Okay. I kind of figured that was him sort of being like, this was the alpha event that kind of, is this what broke humanity?
So they're taking like modern ideas of like history. So like the Bronze Age collapse, right?
Right.
You've heard of
Yes.
that?
Yeah.
So like they're like, oh yeah, this was the start of the Bronze Age collapse, and then things like that.
Okay. All right.
The sea people, like there is a mysterious sea people that came and just like destroyed civilization at that time, and all we know about them is they're people from the sea. And so this movie made the people from the sea Odysseus and his men.
What if we were the sea people the whole time?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
okay.
we led to the Bronze Age collapse.
Interesting.
But the book doesn't draw a direct connection like that.
It was written before the Bronze Age collapse. So and yeah, it's like it's connections for very nerdy historians.
Yeah. Right. For you guys, and Zach, this might be challenging because of just your presentation. Was there a spectacle or a moment that just like jumped out at you of like, oh, this is, obviously a lot happens in this movie, but anything that sort of really stood out? I mean, I know I put you on the guys on the spot. I guess for me, I'll say when they were going through like that the strait between the mountains by the whirlpool, and you had this almost like alien creature plucking, the crew off the ship. I just thought that was nothing I would expect to have seen in like the Odyssey, and I don't remember that happening whatsoever in the story itself.
Was this supposed to be like a tree?
Okay, it looked like an alien.
I couldn't really see it.
Yeah, that's fair to you. So it was like just these tentacles that like came out of this hole in the mountain.
Yeah,
kind of these knobby tentacles. But it was cool, and it was different compared to like everything else we'd seen so far.
I was curious about that as well, just like where that came from, if that's from the original story, or if that's like the one thing he invented, maybe. Because everything else I had a pop culture reference for.
Yes,
as far as like the major things that they encounter on the journey, except for that I was just like, what is this? This is like weird rock spider thing.
I had to Google this, but in the book there was a monster called Scylla that had 6 long necks and heads who snatched 6 sailors off the ship and eats them.
Okay.
There's also a fig tree near the whirlpool that Odysseus clings to, but it doesn't grab anyone.
Okay, so keep the spider, drop the fig tree.
Yeah.
So it was from the original text. It's just not the thing that people point to when they talk about this story,
sure.
evidently.
Should we go through the different set pieces? Like, is the Cyclops the first big set piece?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What'd you guys think about the Cyclops?
I thought it was amazing.
I love the design of the Cyclops. Yeah, go ahead, James.
I like, in general, and we'll go back to specifics of the Cyclops, but in general, I liked how every time they encountered, except for maybe the woods giants, it felt like every time they encountered a god or like a, mythical creature, magic, whatever you want to call them, they weren't just chilling deities. You know what I mean? They were like tortured in some way or something like that. Like the witch later on is like, she's just like a sitting duck up there basically for all these brutes essentially that, float by and want to stop by and take advantage. And she's sick of that crap and she's not putting up with it anymore. Same thing with the Cyclops. He's chilling on the island, taking care of his sheep, and these little peons start messing around with him. You know what I mean? He's already very tortured for one reason or another. He's like all disfigured, and it's not just like your cartoony idea of like a Cyclops and normal face. It's like somebody has twisted him or something like that. He looked tortured before they even got there.
He's almost like a Picasso face.
Yeah. And he just looks tired and kind of non-threatening. You know what I mean? Despite the fact that he's picked up a couple guys and chomped them in half and stuff like that. But I mean, for the most part, he's like, he doesn't see them as a real threat to him. And probably if they had just scrammed, that would have been it, essentially. Or if Odysseus hadn't shot him in the eye on his way out, he may not have chased him down the hill.
He wouldn't have.
Right.
Yeah, that was a real jerk move on Odysseus' part.
For sure.
He was kind of a jerk the whole time. He's
right,
like,
exactly.
Goes in the cave. He's like, oh, well, he has to treat us nice because it's Zeus's law.
Yep.
And really, him deciding not to go like the normal route home, the trade route home, he's like, well, we can just get resources on the way. And getting resources on the way is taking advantage of people or like destroying their village if they don't.
Right. Which we see him do at one point also. Like they raid a village.
Yeah.
And his right-hand man says something like, see what happens like, why didn't you welcome us or something like that? It's sort of one of those like, we were going to force ourselves upon you. Why didn't you allow this to happen?
Yeah.
So.
Have you guys seen the painting by Goya called Saturn Devouring His Son?
I have heard that before. Let me look it up.
Google that image, Saturn Devouring His Son. I'm almost positive that Nolan was referencing that with the Cyclops when he eats the first person.
Oh yeah, this giant like holding a person and chomping his head off.
Yeah, it's staged just like that.
Yep.
Interesting. Yeah, I could see it.
I thought the Cyclops was a little blurry, but also I thought, whenever it switched to like, I guess they had a giant puppet or something. It kind of looked like a giant puppet. Like you see this hand just kind of like move by, very puppet-like.
I guess that didn't bother me, maybe because mine was in focus. But I think I liked the tactile nature of this movie.
Oh yes, 100%.
Right, like when they're on the ocean, they're just on water sailing, like
in a real boat.
In a real boat. I'm like, oh, this looks great because obviously I know Nolan's like, I don't do CGI. There's obviously CGI in this movie. Like I don't believe him. Maybe he's not using like CGI to generate a boat sailing, but there's composite shots and all that stuff.
Well, he didn't say there's no CGI in this movie, did he?
Matt Damon did.
Matt Damon did?
Yeah. Matt Damon said like, oh yeah, no doesn't use CGI. I'm like, well, yes, he does, Matt Damon. Like,
I don't know what the tree was that plucked people out of there.
Exactly. So, right. Maybe the tree was the exception, but yeah, this whole movie felt tactile and had heft to it. And I guess I didn't mind that it was a puppet giant at times, because at least that puppet giant moved. It had weights to it and didn't feel like just some, green screen creature just, whipping around back there. So.
Yeah, I thought it was very well done and kind of horrific. Like, not necessarily in like a seriously scary way, just like the choice to kind of twist the nose and
Yeah.
keep the one eye. And it's just definitely a decision, and it worked for me. For sure.
As well as the scream that it emitted, like
Mhm.
after it was blinded, was tragic almost. Like you felt the pain of this creature.
Yeah.
Okay, what set piece is next?
After that is that the island with the giants?
The guys in the armor.
Yeah,
Yeah, probably.
I think so. That's another one I don't remember from the Odyssey at all.
I think that there was an island of giants,
Okay,
but they didn't have like steel armor. That's the
Right,
only
yeah.
difference. Yeah,
they looked cool.
sure.
It-
They looked formidable.
Yes, it kind of felt like Nolan's like, we need an action moment here. Like we got the giants, but there's not a ton of action. The giants, like let's have some. We need some arms lopped off and a little bit of sword and sandal going on now.
Yeah, let's throw someone into a tree.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I do like how the trees like moves though.
Yeah.
That was, I mean,
Disorienting for sure.
it was, and like the camera's panning, but there's also a tree. Like camera's panning to the left, there's a tree moving to the right at different rates, and it was just, I thought that was really
Them
clever.
all chopping at the boat as
Mhm.
he's like making his escape. That's a great little scene.
Absolutely. Yeah. From there, they move farther down the island, and you get the witch scene with the pigs and the body horror, essentially.
That
Yeah.
was straight body horror.
Yeah.
That was, and pretty long too.
It was right, and how she was like molding them. I mean, it's a cool interpretation of like a witch turns you into a pig.
Mhm.
And like so much we just see poof pig, right? That's like the the accepted whatever reason. But in this case, she's like clay. She's like molding their bodies into this pig, and like just how they're eating, and like the eating gets more and more voracious, and like
Yeah.
almost like they can't stop if they wanted to.
The decision to have them eat in like insane people was good
Right. Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
And again, like the witch isn't wrong. She's like even when she turned them back, she says like, I'm going to put you back into your disguises or something like that.
Hmm.
I don't know if you guys caught that. Once Odysseus convinces her to like turn it back.
So like the
Um,
disguise is like that you're a noble.
The disguise is that you're a man. Right. You're a noble person, but your true self is like,
Is a
I
pig.
feel like she didn't turn them into pigs so much as like, she didn't choose pigs. She was more like, well, you're pigs, so I'm going to make you into a pig because that's what you really are.
Interesting. Do you think his men would have left her alone?
Like, as in, would it not have murdered or done worse to her?
I mean, they hadn't done anything to her yet when she turned them into pigs. And there really was no indication they were going to do that, other than the fact that it seemed like they did that at the other village that we saw earlier in the movie. You know what I mean? They ransacked and
Sure.
took what they wanted. But she was giving them what they wanted, which was food at the moment.
I wonder, again, I don't have the backstory. I wonder if the
Mhm.
witch just has this distrust of man in general. Like
Sure.
from being, we don't know how old she is. We don't know how long she's been up there. You see the pile of armor outside of her hut.
Mhm.
So it might be something where she's just like, man equals pain and death. So I'm not going to try and figure out if these are the good ones or not.
I mean, she definitely says something about how whenever, soldiers come up here, that's what they want.
Right.
And I'm not giving it.
Yep.
Basically.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that segment too. Really, those three just kind of come back to back to back. Like we're in the high adventure part of the story where we're just kind of jumping from island to island and scene to scene. I was bought in at that point for sure. Just at the spectacle of it all.
Yeah.
I think there's something to be said for, like, we've gotten a lot of sword and sandal movies in the last 20 years or so. I mean, we had a ton of them, like in the early 2010s. We had like 3 movies that were all about I forget.
Like Clash of the Titans remake?
Yeah, like Clash of the
Yeah.
Titans and stuff like that. And they always felt, I don't know, not worth going back to. That's for sure. You know
they
what I mean?
felt
They just,
superfluous. Yeah, like
The CG is a big reason for that.
yeah,
exactly.
they were like remakes of those old movies, but with shiny graphics put to them, I would say. And with this one, it felt like a traditional, Hollywood movie, but certainly uses modern tools to make it, bigger and grander and all those kinds of things. So I really enjoy Nolan's approach to these things to ground them in reality. I think he's probably the best at doing that and being able to do it in a thing that is essentially fantasy and not make it feel like you've sucked the life out of the thing. Like with Batman, you know what I mean? That is not reality, clearly.
Yeah.
Things are happening that are not reality. World that's not reality. And yet there's enough there, both directions, that you can go along for the ride. And that's kind of how I felt with this one too. There were lots of opportunities for him to put things on screen, I'm sure, that like would break that, and he just didn't. Like there's no depiction of Zeus or, you know what I mean, any of the gods flying in the sky doing anything, or you know what I mean? It was all just kind of like the B team. You know what I mean? With the Cyclops and the witch and the stuff that like certainly has the giants have fantastical elements to them, but they just felt like they fit in this story, in this world. And so I appreciated that. Short of really the rock tentacle monster. That was the one that I was just kind of like, what are we doing here? Yeah.
Felt out of place for sure.
Yeah.
Also the little whirlpool too felt a little too perfect whirlpool to me.
Oh, a little too Pirates of the Caribbean, just kind of scrolling.
I mean, it was
there.
like even Pirates of the Caribbean had a sloppier whirlpool than this movie had. It looked like somebody literally pulled the plug on the bathtub. It was, I don't know, felt weird.
It needed to be more formidable, so that way they made the decision to go through the straits instead of through the whirlpool. Like I was like, you could hop through that, no problem.
Or set it during a storm or something. I don't know, just something to mask the fact that it's like a
James would like to see the whirlpool between someone's legs. Backwards.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It just felt like they're like, we need to avoid this whirlpool. And I'm like, well, it's like 2 p.m. You didn't see it like from miles away.
Can you go around it?
Yeah.
Actually, can I, just because I referenced tennis,
please? Yes.
Can I say that there were many times in this movie where people shot arrows, and I did not like how it looked when they shot the arrows.
They shot
it didn't
arrows
look like they were aiming them at all,
or pulling hard enough.
They shot arrows the same way as that Robin Hood Sean Connery movie we watched.
Yeah.
Where they kind of like shoot from the hip. They sort of like just kind of,
they
don't like do the whole aim thing. So.
Just like pew, pew, pew kind of a thing. And especially like Odysseus' bow is a famous bow.
Yeah.
Because of how hard the draw is.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you saw him draw, it didn't look like it took a lot of strength to do.
Not for him.
It just didn't, it didn't look right to me.
Okay. So I do wonder, I don't know the history of archery, but
clearly.
Yeah, clearly.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Like it has I'm sure archery has evolved. Like I think a lot of times when we think archery, we think of, sort of medieval Englishmen with their long bows, with the long draws. I mean, maybe in the Greek era, archery was much more of like a handgun, like shoot from the hip kind of style.
Certainly, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Just like very rapid fire, like kind of quick, pew, pew, pew.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah.
I did not like the look of some of these draws.
It does look very unfocused. But maybe there's that good at it. So yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
So from there, they do go to the whirlpool, right? And the rock monster.
Is that what happens after the witch?
I think so.
Wait, no, there's a prophecy. No, they first go to the land of the dead, right? He has the prophecy
to Hades, right?
Yeah, I guess it is to Hades. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's where he meets a bunch of his former soldiers who are now kind of in this hell area.
Right.
And they're a little upset with him, I would say. And he's trying to rationalize with them that he did the best he could type of thing.
Sure.
And then they don't fully accept that in the end. And they chase him away.
Yeah.
But they give him the prophecy first of like,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna be the whirlpool or the monster. And you must choose the monster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then they did the whirlpool. From there, was that pretty much the end of the adventure portion?
I mean, yeah. You
No,
also got to remember what?
They then go to the island with the cows. Right?
Right. Yeah. And they're
they get stuck.
Yes, because the wind will not turn.
Because basically the whole story is because he made Poseidon mad.
mm-hmm.
You're right, because he blinded Poseidon's son. Yeah.
So if he hadn't shot the Cyclops in the eye, none of this would be happening.
No, I think he'd already made Poseidon mad at that point. I think how they treated maybe a temple inside Troy or something like that. Or maybe like I'm trying to remember exactly, but it was like they were going to sacrifice to Poseidon before they left, and then Odysseus was like, "We have no time. Let's just get in the boats," or something like that.
But I thought Agamemnon sacrificed to Agamemnon sacrificed to Poseidon.
He may have, and that's why he got home sooner or something. I don't know.
And also got once he got home.
Yeah.
So you're saying Odysseus didn't sacrifice to Poseidon,
Yes,
and that's what? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, there was the sirens. We didn't talk about the sirens.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I was bummed we didn't get to hear the sirens.
Yeah, they kind of didn't really, they mute that part, I guess.
Yeah, but like, how can you? I think it's one of those things where it's better left to the imagination. Right? It's like sometimes what you don't see is scarier than what you do see. And if the idea is that this song is supposed to be so not even beautiful per se, but just so enchanting. And I also got the impression that maybe the song is different for each listener.
Sure.
Right? So I was okay with the fact that it was like he was describing what the song was to him emotionally and how it resonated with him. And how it was sort of like all his dreams and all his fears. And it's maybe revealed who he truly is. It was like a really rough therapy session.
Well, I think just the fact that he's like, all you men, fill your ears with wax. And by the way, I will be tied to the masts because I am the only one that can handle listening to the song.
Sure.
It was kind of like, all right, dude, calm down here a little bit.
Again, it's Odysseus is an alpha male.
I guess he's a moron. Is what he is.
Moron. Yeah.
But I did like that there was no sound and you're just kind of left with Matt Damon acting his butt off, basically.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
He was going full force on the idea that he's being tortured by this thing.
That was the most we've ever gotten from Matt Damon, right? Like the darkest he's gone.
Probably. Yeah. He really, really. I want to see the footage that hit the floor when it comes to that, because I guarantee he didn't do that in one take. You know what I mean? They probably did that a bunch and then took different levels and tried them and to see which, like, was that the most extravagant version of that scene, or did he go much bigger and this was the middle? I don't know. Inquiring minds want to know. Yeah, I liked that we didn't really. It's another one where it was like a reference to something I certainly have a context for. And it would have been interesting to see it play out farther than they pushed it. But at the same time, there's a lot to do in a 3-hour movie.
Yeah.
And it can't all be high adventure at the seas because they're having to fill in a bunch of other puzzle pieces in order to make the climax make any sense or be interesting at all, essentially.
Yeah. What did you guys think, especially James, since, you probably was least familiar with this portion? What did you think about all the stuff with the suitors and the wife and the son at home? Because, I mean, the movie cuts back to that a lot. Because that is the finale. So they do have to build to that.
I really had zero context for anything other than kind of the big adventure story points for this. And so that was all new to me. And I picked up what they were, trying to communicate as far as like the suitors. They suspect that what's his name? Ulysses?
Odysseus?
Odysseus. Yeah.
It's all Greek to me.
He's been gone so long that he's probably dead. And if he's dead, then somebody's got to slide in here with the queen. become kind of,
King.
it's your way to get power, even though you're not in the bloodline, essentially. Right. And so I liked that idea. I liked Robert Pattinson in this movie. Plays quite a weasel, I would say.
Real slimy.
He was pretty great in the movie. Probably Matt Damon was pretty good in this, but I think having somebody to tag along with Anne Hathaway and kind of be angling in on her as best he can, despite the fact that she has not given up on her husband yet, I think that made that whole situation far more interesting than if they hadn't had kind of like a main suitor who seemed capable of sneaking his way in the back door type of thing. I like the idea that they never made him charming. He's just a schemer, essentially.
He's conniving, exactly.
Yeah, he never convinced her that she needs to pick him. He's just waiting in the wings for the moment to force her to do what he wants her to do. I really like that. I liked how they flashed it back to kind of the, before the movie even starts, when they're recruiting people for the war. The fact that he kind of gets bone spurred out of service there, and somebody else has to take his place, and how they even loop in that other person towards the beginning of the movie. I thought that was all good stuff. Yeah, I mean, it kept my attention, and that was a risk that the stuff that's happening in the palace or whatever you're going to call it, a bunch of people talking in rooms for the most part, most of the movie.
Yeah.
It just doesn't on paper compare to the high adventure that's happening with Matt Damon and crew, but it held my attention. They stuck with it long enough that it kept the rhythm going, that you never forgot about these people and you saw a progression there, but also it never stuck around so long that it felt like I just want to get back to the other thing.
Yeah.
Whoever edited this movie, if it wasn't already on paper, they did a real good job of balance.
Yeah,
I would say. What'd you guys think of that? It's kind of a two-tiered story that collides at the end.
Right. Yeah. Go ahead, Zach.
I liked all the performances. I think the best performance in this movie is Tom Holland. I think this is the best.
I was going to say the
career.
Opposite.
Really?
I'm not saying it was the
It was
worst.
the most focused, I thought.
Sure.
The least blurry.
Because he likes to be on left or right side of the camera for most of the movies.
No, what did you guys think? I thought it was his best performance ever.
I thought it was his maybe his best performance ever, and also the worst performance in this movie.
Oh, really?
I kind of have to agree with James. Well, I mean, just because Anne Hathaway, for me, she stole all of that. Of all the performances of the suit, within that palace intrigue, Anne Hathaway I thought was amazing.
I like the anger she had.
You what?
I like the anger that she had.
Right. Yeah. She brought this emotional core to the story. As much as Odysseus is I want to get back to my family, he's kind of also there for the adventure, right? As James said at the beginning, he's like, oh, let's go this way and go on an adventure together, and we'll figure it out as we go. Yeah. Anne Hathaway is just where is my husband? And I will not give up on this. And yeah,
my theater was cool. It was a packed crowd, 3:00 in the afternoon on a Saturday. Everybody was totally respectful. You could hear a pin drop through most of the movie.
Same.
But when Anne Hathaway started talking about locking the doors and burning all the suitors to the ground or whatever, somebody clapped and whooped when that happened. And it was fine. It felt like a release. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you could see she's just really frustrated with the entire situation. Right. And I think they built that well, that frustration. I think Tom Holland probably suffers from the fact that the character itself is just such a blank slate. He's just the son of the guy, and he doesn't know what's going on most of the movie. And he's just kind of where's my dad? Give me daddy, because I don't know what to do right now. These other dudes are pushing me around and I don't know what the solution is. So he just there's just not much there for him to chew on compared to what other people in the movie have to chew on.
Right.
John Barenthal too in the movie was just kind of distracting to me. Probably
Like-
because I recently watched Punisher
Okay.
on Marvel TV, and so seeing him look very similar to his Punisher character and talk very similar to that character was just kind of like, I guess this is what John Barenthal does, no matter what the movie is at this point.
I mean, like John Barenthal. Okay, first I want to say, if I had said "Give Me Daddy" on this podcast, James would have made a little mark on it and made it into a whole clip
Sure.
and all that. So which you're gonna
Good
do right
job,
now.
Daddy.
I just said it. So
Ooh, Daddy's
just want to
mad.
note the double standard right there. That James can say it and it's not a problem. But John Barenthal, I think he's an incredible actor because I have seen him like back to King Richard, right? He plays the tennis coach. He's not playing the John Barenthal character we're used
That's
to.
true. That's true.
I think just a lot of people saw him as like Shane on Walking Dead season 1, and they're like, okay, well he plays the gruff a-hole really well, so we're
Mhm.
gonna make him gruff a-hole in every movie. And so yeah, it makes me sad to see John Barenthal typecasted or go back to the well of the gruff voice and all that, but I still look forward to see him as an actor because I still think he has a lot of range to him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against him. It just, there wasn't much interesting to me about what he was
Sure.
doing in this
Yeah, I
movie.
mean his characters. Yeah, exactly. It's not a lot there.
There's a movie that came out last year called The Return. Starring Ray Fiennes, and
Fiennes,
Juliette
yeah.
Binoche.
Mhm.
So The Return, this was the Odyssey story, just in the part in Ithaca with the massacre and the the suitors and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
it's none of the Matt Damon part until he gets back home.
Mhm.
And then it starts, and it's Ray Fiennes. And I think it did a better job of that portion of the movie. Ray Fiennes to me seemed like a perfect Odysseus. Like
Okay.
when I was watching this, it just really, really felt like Matt Damon the whole time. I could not think of him as not Matt Damon. Like it felt like Matt Damon to me. Whereas like in The Return, Ray Fiennes felt like Odysseus. And I thought the whole massacre scene and the build up to stringing the bow, I thought in The Return was handled so much better. In this one, people tried and they couldn't do it, and then he did it and he could. And there just wasn't enough build up or drama for me, whereas in The Return does it so well. And so that was a little disappointing for me. But if you at all were interested or like that part, I thoroughly recommend The Return.
Okay, I want to see it. I remember it coming out and going and not hear much about it, but
For sure.
with your
But
endorsement,
It's Ray Fiennes and Juliette Binoche, and it's directed by a Pasolini. So how can you go
one of
wrong?
them.
Yeah.
But here's my question on The Return: does it have Odysseus's bed in it?
Yes.
Because that I was missing the bed.
I was very disappointed the bed wasn't in
It would have
there.
been superfluous to this movie, and like, oh, by the way, where's my bed? But
Totally. James, so
yeah, James,
in
you know
the
the story of the bed? Okay, go ahead.
in the poem, basically at the very end, he's already massacred everyone.
Mhm.
And his wife Penelope gives him one more challenge to like prove that it's him. And she basically says, "Hey, can you move our bed for me?" And she knows that he won't be able to because they made the bed out of a tree that like is growing out of their bedroom, like a
Right.
real living tree that's rooted in the ground. They built the bed out of it. And she's like, "Hey, move this bed for me." And he's like, "You know I can't move the bed." And they have an argument about the bed.
Yeah.
And it's just this funny little scene at the end of the Odyssey. And it is in The Return. It is not in this movie.
Okay. It would have felt out of place in this movie, so I wasn't expecting the bed to show up, but it is a nice little part of that story that I like.
Yeah.
So
Totally.
there were a couple times this movie went for humor, which to me felt out of place just because like it's such a serious movie. Like for example, when they're all they're grilling the cow in the pit at night, and Odysseus was like, you think the gods can't see you in a pit or something like that, but he kind of says it like in that Matt Damon kind of jokey way. I was like, don't make jokes in this movie. There is no place for humor in this movie whatsoever. This is a very serious film. I don't know if you guys did that. I mean, Zach, you probably weren't even listening at this point. You're just like, why
I don't
can't I
remember.
see anything?
Honestly, I do not remember that part.
Okay. There were definitely a couple of times. They dropped the F-bomb a couple of times, which I also felt a
Yeah,
little.
like 3 times.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think they. I mean, again, I get this is an anachronistic interpretation, that's fine, but I didn't need that. And then I was super distracted by Charlize Theron's pierced ears. Again, Zach, I don't know if you saw them, but again, not. It just felt like it reminded me, like, oh yeah, these are actors, because I can see like just the piercing holes in her ear, even though they probably were piercing ears back in that era.
Kyle's gonna hate me for this too, but like Charlize Theron in the movie is like, okay,
Totally agree.
It could have been anybody.
Right.
It could have been anybody. It was distracting that it was a famous person.
Right.
It didn't bother me that it was her,
Mhm.
but I do agree it didn't have to be. It didn't have to be her. Like I think she would have been. The witch was great. It was Samantha Morton was the witch.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think you easily could have put Charlize Theron as the witch also, and she would have done great there. Or like if you got closer to the sirens, I think Charlize Theron would have made a great siren.
The reason why Samantha Morton is good as the witch is, one, she has more interesting thing to do in the movie for sure.
Right. Yeah.
But two, Samantha Morton's not Charlize Theron. Like Charlize Theron,
It's like tall and blonde.
and blonde and beautiful and like
Yeah.
kind of uninteresting to look at. Whereas Samantha Morton does not look like that. You know what I mean? She looks like a normal woman, not a supermodel. And so I understand like the one that he's staying with on the beach is charming him, right? Kind of like keeping him around and wooing him to stay with her essentially. So you do need like a different type of casting for that. But there's lots of very attractive people that don't have the Hollywood baggage that Charlize Theron has. Like I see her and I think Furiosa.
And they
On
could have
the
saved
beach.
$1 million.
Yeah. But they're also like trying to sell the movie across the globe. And so I get throwing Charlize Theron's name on the poster and stuff like that. It probably worth $1 million, if not more, on some level. So I understand why they did it. I just, I'm with Zach. Nothing she did was wrong in it. It just was kind of distracting at times.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
I didn't find it distracting, but I agree that it didn't have to be her. It wasn't like, oh, this is the role that Charlize Theron was made to play or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. A lot.
Did you guys
Go ahead.
like
Zach.
Matt Damon's performance?
I thought it was good enough to get me through the movie.
I liked it. It wasn't my favorite of everyone. Again, I still think Anne Hathaway, if anyone has the standout performance of this movie, it's Anne Hathaway. But I was not bothered by Matt Damon. No.
I think Pattinson and Hathaway, oddly enough, their little back and forth of that situation, even though they don't really talk that much between the two characters, just the chess game that's happening in that palace was far more interesting than it should have been, I would say, because those two were killing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a couple more quick thoughts.
Great.
One is, I really appreciate Christopher Nolan wanting to be practical and shoot things in real places and on real sets with real objects and all that kind of thing. That being said, the landscape of like ancient Greece or whatever is so barren and like scraggly that it's not like the most epic looking landscape, like it's all scraggly bushes and like bare dirt. And so it's just like not the most interesting backdrop for all this stuff, even if it's incredibly accurate, So that's just one thought I had.
I mean, I don't know. He was using like the witch was on a cliffside that was kind of lush and green, and the giant people were in this forest.
Yeah, I know. It's just I don't know. There's no Grand Canyon anywhere.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry that Greece isn't geographically interesting enough for you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The other thing is, I did notice a lot of the dialogue outside of the suitor area, but like a lot of the other dialogue was edited really snappy. Like there wasn't a lot of dead space or dead time at all. Like the movie, like there'd be no long extended pauses between people talking to each other. It was cut very trim.
Yeah.
In a way that like felt maybe a little bit too snappy. Like it's like there was no patience. Like we just had to keep moving, which I understand it's already 3 hours long, whatever. But it just felt like a lot of times they just cut it really close to the bone when it came to conversations.
I mean, I did read that Nolan wanted to blend the Odyssey with His Girl Friday.
Yeah. Right.
So that was the
that would do it.
I feel like he started doing that with the movie before.
Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer too. Oppenheimer is like you're getting fragments of conversations. They are moving
Right.
from one to the other and not giving you an opportunity to breathe in between.
Agreed.
I
Agreed.
feel like it's an extension of that. Maybe this deserves a little more breathing room though. Here and there. Yeah.
I remember when I saw Oppenheimer in the theater, the first like 5 minutes, I was like, is this whole movie just gonna be like montage? Because it just felt so
like a montage.
so snap.
Yeah.
I adjusted to it. And this movie kind of started the same. Where like, right, people start talking and they like you said, Zach, they're just kind of going. And maybe because I'd seen Oppenheimer, I was like, okay, my brain can recalibrate for Christopher Nolan and like the pace he wants to go. I don't think this movie was as offensive as Oppenheimer in that like snappiness though.
To be honest, the first like 5 minutes I have no memory of because I was told that it was going to be blurry for artistic reasons.
Yeah.
And so I am trying to like figure out like,
accept
okay,
it.
it's blurriest when it's like a flashback or like a flash forward or flash sideways or like, you know what I mean? I was really trying to create a narrative out of the blurriness as a,
Like when's
an
a black
artistic-
and white versus color? So-
yeah, totally. And
Yeah.
so it was, I have no idea what would happen, but it did jump around a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
Two people we haven't mentioned. One that doesn't have a lot to do, but the other one did have a lot and was great. Was Zendaya and John Leguizamo.
And I'm gonna throw in a third name in there.
Okay.
Himesh Patel, who was his right hand man.
Yeah, he was.
I thought
good
he
too.
was actually because I know him as a comedian. I'm pretty sure.
You're confusing him, I think, with somebody else.
I probably am. And
Oh, I thought that was the comedian,
I don't think
It's-
so.
his right hand man guy. He was my least favorite performance.
okay, so I liked him. Why was he your least favorite?
He just seemed completely out of place. He seemed almost jokey. He just did not seem like a serious character to me.
Let's see, Himesh Patel.
Are you talking
Yeah,
about the guy that was
oh.
on Taskmaster?
No, no, it's not. Himesh Patel was the main guy from Yesterday.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was like a second command on the boat.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But I don't think he's a stand-up comedian or like a comedian.
No, maybe I just saw him in more lighter roles. Like this is
Sure.
the first time I've seen him in something serious. So that was why.
Could be.
But yeah, you mentioned Zendaya and who's the other name you threw out?
Yeah, I mean,
Leguizamo.
Zendaya's barely in it, I would say. She's just kind of there as like a, I don't know, point of guilt for Matt Damon to bounce off of occasionally, essentially. Which you find out later that she's just kind of like a vision of his. And then,
She's like this personification of Athena,
right.
but through this event. Yeah.
Yeah. But John Leguizamo as kind of like the blind mentor. I thought he was pretty good in the movie. And I couldn't tell you the last time I saw a John Leguizamo movie and was like, yeah, he was good in that. Not that he's bad in these. It's just,
He's always good.
but what has he been in that we've seen lately? It just he
Johnny
doesn't
Wick.
come around much lately.
I do wish there was maybe 20% less John Leguizamo in this film.
Mm.
Like he came up a lot. He was definitely in the movie a lot more than I was expecting him to be.
Is his character in the story that much?
No.
Okay. So it's kind of a minor role that they gave a little bit more.
Yeah, because
Story to it.
Johnny Legs.
Mhm.
Well, he's also like the loyal guy. You know, he's the one guy we know we can trust. We know that he's not gonna, old Spider-Man can go to him and chalk
Mhm.
things out. Yeah.
Another thing I liked about the return way better was how they handled the dog.
I felt so bad for the dog in this, just thrown in the dung heap and
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
James, did you get that from this movie that the dog was like staying alive until Odysseus came home and then he died right away?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty on the surface, I would say. My biggest issue with the dog is that once they put the dog on the dung heap, it looked like a puppet.
it was. I'm pretty sure it was a puppet at that point. Yeah.
And I don't like CG animals either, but at the same time, like you can't get a dog to just lay there.
Yeah, just get a dog to lay there.
Yeah. I don't know.
I did enjoy the massacre at the end because, again, it was like one more cool action scene. I thought it was well shot. I also felt like I was watching like Odysseus Batman
Mhm.
at the same time. Like, oh yeah, this is Nolan going back to his Dark Knight days, and we're getting some Batman fighting right now.
Sure. Yeah, I I liked that segment. Like kind of by the time he gets back to the palace and things are playing out, and they're like, if he comes back, he's gonna kill you all, blah blah blah. But then alternatively, they're also like, guests should be treated with respect. So I was like, how do you square this? But I guess they're there to take his kingship or whatever. But they think he's dead. And fair enough. You know what I mean? There's no proof that the guy's not dead.
Right. But I mean, I also
It's been
felt
20 years. It's not like they're personally insulting him.
But I thought the personal insult was the fact that they didn't leave. Like there was how many
Sure.
suitors there for one woman, right?
Yeah, they're eating her out of house and home.
Exactly. So the offense was, hey, this is an all-day party. They're taking advantage of her because of Zeus's law, because she can't kick him out, because I can't think. Spider-Man, Tom Holland,
Sure.
can't like push him around. So they're like, well, her hands are tied. Why not stay?
Yeah. I understand that. I would have been fine with it. I think maybe like when he first came back, like they do the reveal with the pluck and everything like that. It would have been cool to have at least 2 or 3 guys immediately kneel instead of like they all fight him for a few minutes and then they start kneeling once they realize like this dude ain't going down.
Sure.
I think that would have been cool just to be like, oh, there were some in there that actually legitimately were that they respect his kingship. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like once they realize, oh, this is actually him. Yeah, I'm not here to take his wife. I'm just here to, I was here for that, but now that he's alive, I respect the king.
Can you guys
or make them cowards? Like, I'm not going to fight. Like,
Yeah.
this is not
Which
what
is how I took it.
Yeah.
Can you guys explain to me, because this just went over completely past me and I did not understand what actually happened.
Mhm.
What happened with Robert Pattinson's character when he was a kid and they were doing the draft? Like what happened? Who got what and what happened there?
So I believe Robert Pattinson's character drew the lot, right?
Drew the long stick. Yep.
Yeah. He was supposed to be drafted, but then like Odysseus was like, oh no, you need to stay home and take care of your family.
Mhm.
Right. And then Simden, Elliot Page, was like, I will go in your place.
I think they're told you're going in his place.
Okay. Yeah. Right. True. Yeah. Odysseus kind of says, sorry, Robert Pattinson, you need to stay here, take care of your family, watch over my son. Simden, you're taking their place. Come with me.
Yeah, and I think Simden is like his like servant boy, Robert Pattinson's servant boy too.
Yeah.
I thought Robert Pattinson got it, and then he like pulled Simden aside and said, "Hey, take this for me, and don't tell anyone. Tell him you picked it out."
No,
that didn't happen.
I don't think Robert Pattinson's character was that conniving right away. I think it was something where like Odysseus trusted him and said, "Hey, I need you to stay here," and kind of keep mind over everything.
I have vague memories of what Zach's talking about. I think there is like a little bit of that going on too.
Okay. I got the impression that Robert Pattinson's character was more of a betrayal. Like he wasn't conniving right away. He was Odysseus trusted him to do something, and then betrayed Odysseus's trust by then conniving for Penelope.
Yeah, could be, but they clearly towards the end show him as a coward. Like the shot during that fight, the shot of him like kind of hiding behind the barrel, just telling everybody, go get the weapons and stuff like that. He's literally just hiding behind something. That was great.
So I like they showed him a coward. Every time he said the spears, I was like, I know, Robert, we see the spears are on the ground. Like, I don't need a reminder to go get I thought that was a little silly that he was just shouting out, get this weapon. So
I loved it.
Okay.
Thought it was
I also like their plan was drop the weapons through the floor, which is a great plan. So yeah.
All right. I asked the internet. This is what it says. Robert Pattinson draws the lot requiring him to fight for Troy. He then pays the poor Sinon to take his place, promising to support Sinon's family. Odysseus discovers the arrangement, but protects Antonius's family from shame by publicly claiming that Antonius had volunteered and was ordered to remain home to protect Telemachus.
Okay.
Antonius never pays Sinon's family, and Sinon's family dies in poverty.
Which they do mention, I think Elliot Page on the beach, Sinon does say something like, my dad died a beggar. Because Sinon met his dad in Hades. Okay. I will say the movie does not make that very clear. That
it happens pretty fast.
It
right
happens
there at the
quickly.
beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, and if to me, I got more the impression of like Robert Pattinson was told you can't go,
Mhm.
but that would be more in line with character to pay someone else to go for you.
Okay.
Any final thoughts you guys have?
Well, let's talk. Since we're talking final thoughts, let's talk about the scene after Odysseus doesn't die, and what they leave and essentially just let Tom Holland become king. Is that how the book ends too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, because he's kind of told like another part of his grief is, and he's being told along the way, like we need to bury our dead. Like we can't leave our dead behind.
Right.
And Odysseus like we gotta like we'll mourn them later.
Mhm.
And I think now he's being told sail to the west. Now go mourn your dead. Like you're home. Now you can atone for the rest of this.
I'm glad that's part of the original story because it kind of felt a little bit like a Christopher Nolanism, like a Dark Knight Returns ending where they're just like, wink, wink at the coffee shop. Everybody's doing well.
You know, if Anne Hathaway's in your movie, you're just gonna be at the coffee shop at the end alive. So
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm glad kind of it is a happy ending, right? I mean, they don't get to be king and queen anymore, but
they're together.
Yeah, they're alive, which is all they want for most of the movie.
Right. Her dream before the war was like, let's run away.
Mm-hmm.
And they got to run away finally.
Yeah.
They do play a bit of a psych because he's kind of like dying in her arms. And he was like, I'm happy to see you one last time in Ithaca. And then they cut down on the boat, like, now we're in exile. That was a little weird tonal shift right there. So
is what they're doing actually like shameful? Because they're just giving up the crowns, right?
No, to his son.
He's abdicating. Yeah.
You can do that? I didn't know you could do that. I thought you had to die.
No, you could abdicate.
Okay.
I mean, you have to leave. I don't think you can abdicate and then just stick around. Like you gotta, yeah.
But it's not shameful. He's going to the unknown West to pay homage,
and that's how he discovers America, or Algeria. I'm not sure which one he found who he ran into first. So yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Right, because all this takes place in the Mediterranean Sea, right?
Oh yeah,
sure.
I remember like when we were studying this, like a map of like here's the obviously it's a
Troy's like
folk tale.
Troy's in like Turkey, right?
Right. Yeah. So like here's where he probably went according to the tale. So here's the islands he ran into. And it's all rather small in that it's not like he's crossing the Pacific or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. Final thoughts on the Odyssey.
Again, I thought this was a great epic. Not a perfect film, but a lot of good things going on. And again, I'm really excited to hear Zach talk about it next week after he sees it in focus, how Christopher Nolan intended it.
Yeah. I wish it was sharper. I thought it was unfocused. But it was fine. I'll let you know.
Seems weird that like the Enzion is for those that don't know, that's like our local rep
art
theater,
house.
our art house theater. Like they're I'm not going to say they're known for their projection, but they exist to support film. They're a nonprofit. You know what I mean? And so it seems weird. They need to check their projectionist, who clearly decided they could do no wrong, evidently. Or maybe like run some tests. I remember going to see test screenings at the IMAX theater, like the legit IMAX theater, the one you're going to after this. I knew somebody who worked at the theater, and we would go to movie screenings that started at 2:30 in the morning on like a Thursday night. This was before they did Thursday night screenings, and we would watch movies for free because they needed somebody to watch them all the way through before they, started, putting people through the screenings. And so I'm surprised Enzion didn't do that. Sounds like it was bad enough that if somebody had done that, they would have said, there's not a chance this was creative intent.
Yeah.
It did have an interesting look at times, though. It wasn't unfocused down the middle, but there was a little bit of like a fisheye going on. You remember this, Kyle, a little bit? Like the edges sometimes would be a little, I want to say blurry, but more like stretched.
Right.
Blurry.
I honestly, I noticed it most, like I saw in IMAX during the credits, because the credits are like this block of text and you can kind of see it warp on the bottom and then warp towards the top.
Sure.
I didn't pick up on it as much during the movie. I'll admit that.
We didn't talk about it, but it's a first movie ever filmed entirely in IMAX. And have you guys watched any of the behind the scenes on how they had to do that?
I've seen the film being loaded and like the pallets of film they have.
Yeah. I mean,
that's insane. Yeah.
One, they basically had to crane the entire movie because of the weight of these cameras.
Sure.
So they had to crane it. They had to build a special box because evidently they're super loud when recording. And on top of the box, which muted the clicking noises of those cameras, they essentially had to ADR the entire movie, despite the fact that they tried their best to get on-set audio. And then the last thing was, because of the size of the cameras, there were certain shots that like they couldn't get in tight well enough, and so they had to build a series of mirrors so that the camera's like shooting into mirrors, because the actors could not be close enough together in order to get the shot that they needed. And so you're acting to a mirror instead of directly down the lens of the camera, which I thought was very interesting.
So you're telling me, and Zach can back me up, when Matt Damon and Charlize Theron embraced, that's just a mirror? That's all it was the whole time?
Oh, I don't know exactly when they did that, but
we're ahead of our time.
That is a 30-year-old reference for Zach and I right there. Sorry,
That's
James. You're on the loop on that one.
I didn't get it.
Okay,
sure.
That's fine. Sorry, 35-year-old reference maybe. So,
oh, are we talking about the mirror from Contact? Is that?
No.
This is
Okay. Well, maybe someday we'll do a Patreon on this whole thing.
Can't wait. Everybody sign up in anticipation of this explanation. I enjoyed the movie. The final thoughts. I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was a fun time. I think there's probably a little more here to garner on rewatch. I kind of like that I didn't understand every single little bitty piece of it, and it really didn't matter. Because I feel like when I see it again, I'll have more time to sink my teeth into those other things. And I didn't feel like I was missing out by not knowing every little piece of trivia. And
for sure.
Yeah.
And sometimes movies can make you feel like you're missing out. You're like confused and you're like, you feel a little cheated. You know what I mean? I did not feel cheated by this movie. The look and feel is kind of, nobody else is making them like this. I'm glad they're good. If they weren't good and it was the last of these to be made like this, then it would literally be the last. He's kind of the last filmmaker, right? Him and Spielberg that kind of like can write a blank check. And even Spielberg nowadays seems like between Fabelmans and Disclosure Day, I'm not sure people are writing him blank checks anymore.
No, I would say, Nolan's definitely the premier filmmaker of our time.
Well,
right now.
and the movie's doing very, very well. I think it's already made $250 million.
Oh, I saw it 10 a.m. today in the IMAX. Every seat was filled except like the first maybe one or two rows, but it was sold out beyond that.
Yeah. Zach, final thoughts.
I'm gonna have to see it again in order to really have a solid opinion on it. Although I do think you can never go back to the first time you watch a movie, and so I think I'll struggle to really, really enjoy the movie even the second time with a better presentation. So right now, I like the movie fine. There's parts of it I liked better than others. For the most part, it didn't seem like anything special. Like it didn't seem like our generation's Lawrence of Arabia. It didn't seem like I am seeing something atypical. It just seemed like a well-crafted kind of story, but like it didn't seem elevated to me in any particular way, unfortunately.
As somebody who saw it in focus, I generally agree with that statement. Like it was a fun time at the movies, but I don't see this being anything bigger than his other movies are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which some of them are great. But are any of them The Godfather? Maybe Dark Knight. But the rest of them are perfectly good. You know what I mean?
People love Interstellar. I maybe on this podcast
People
we don't, but
do
people
love Interstellar. That's
I
true.
don't get it.
I don't get the.
Interstellar.
I've seen it once 12 years ago. I really should watch it again. But I was like, yeah, Interstellar was fine. It's 2001 for the 21st century.
I rewatched it this year and felt pretty much the exact same way that I was entertained. I liked watching it, certainly, but it's long. It stretches, and it feels like, is this movie ever going to end by the end of it? For sure.
It gave us Chalamet. Ugh.
Did it really?
He plays young Casey Affleck in the movie.
Oh, okay. On rewatch, I didn't clock it for some reason. All right, let's letterbox star rank The Odyssey. What are you guys going to give it out of 5 stars?
I'm going to go 4.5.
I'll go 3.5.
I also went 4.5. 2 4.5s and a 3.5 for The Odyssey. What'd you guys think about it? You could leave us a comment or send us an email, heyguys@cinereelists.com. You could do that on the YouTube channel where there's a video version of this podcast. Go check it out there. You could support us on Patreon, leave us an Apple Podcast review, or send us an email to heyguys@cinereelists.com, including enter that contest for that vintage t-shirt from the 2002 M. Night Shyamalan movie Signs. Link in the description for any and all of those things. Also, you could support the podcast by following us on social media on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok @Cinereelists, or you can follow me on my personal Letterboxd or Blue Sky account @YoJRB.
You can follow me on Twitter or Letterboxd @Shaubin.
Find me on Letterboxd at Peter SKB.
These guys will be back next week. I will be out on vacation in Georgia. But these guys will be back with something for you guys that is going to be very exciting.
Maybe the most exciting show of the year.
I maybe have never been more excited for an episode of podcast than next week. I'm not trying to overhype this, but
it has the potential to be the greatest Cinereels episode ever.
I agree. And also, we have no idea what it's going to be. So just to warn you, we have no ideas. But these guys, I'm sure, will come up with something that is the best podcast episode ever produced on the internet. What is the best podcast episode ever produced?
I made a website that takes all of the best regarded podcast episodes of all time and then sorts them by how long they take to listen to. And then you can like make a playlist of the ones that interest you or whatever, and then have just this big playlist of them.
Are you joking or are you serious?
I'm serious.
But is it giving you like Serial episode 7 where it's like there's no context? They just drop you into.
No. It's from like lists of like the best podcast episodes to listen to. So these lists wouldn't choose a random one from a random podcast. You know what I mean?
Well, it's saying best episode. So like what if Serial episode 7 is the
standalone episode. So if you listen to one 90-minute thing, you know, or one 25-minute thing.
I got you. Okay. So it's like this episode's on this one topic. This is not like part of a bigger season. I get you now.
Exactly. Okay. And it has all of those, and then you can sort it by how long they take to listen to.
Interesting.
And where does Cinereelists fall on this one? I know we're kind of long, so.
Well, I didn't want to put my thumb on the scale and like make it include less of them. And so there's quite a few.
Okay.
There's quite a few.
Nice. Well, can't wait to add one to the list. So until next time, keep it Cinereal.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.